Recorded Books and RB Digital present Conspiracy by Denisha Diamond, narrated by Sherry Peel. Author's note: most of the action in the novel takes place in Washington, D.C., but certain liberties have been taken in portraying the city itself and its institutions. This is wholly intentional. The world presented here is a fictitious one, as are its characters and events. Part 1. Monsters All Around. Chapter 1. Washington, D.C., Winter. A scared and hungry 14-year-old Aubriana Parker stepped out of Union Station and into the dead of night. The exhilaration she'd felt a mere hour ago evaporated the second D.C.'s blistering wind sliced through her thin leather jacket and settled somewhere in her bones' marrow. A new reality slammed into her with the force of a ton of bricks and left her reeling. "Where is he?" she whispered as she scanned the growing crowd. Aubriana was more than an hour late to meet Sean, but it couldn't have been helped. Leaving her home had proved to be much harder than she'd originally realized. After several close calls, she'd managed to escape the House of Horrors with a steel determination to never look back. Nothing could ever make her return. Now it appeared that she'd missed her chance to link up with her best friend from school, or rather, they used to go to the same high school before Sean's father discovered that he was gay, beat the hell out of him, and then threw him out of the house. Miraculously, Sean had said that it was the best thing to ever happen to him. Over the past year, he'd found other teenagers like him living out on the streets of D.C. His eclectic group of friends was better than any blood family. He'd boasted often during their frequent text messages. In fact, Sean's emancipation from his parent had planted the seeds in Aubriana's head that she could do the same thing. Gathering the courage, however, was a different story. The prospect of punishment, if she was caught, had paralyzed her on her first 2 attempts and had left Sean waiting for her arrival in vain. Maybe he thought she'd lost her nerve tonight as well. Had she thought to charge her battery before leaving the house, she would be able to text him now to find out where he was. Aubriana's gaze skimmed through the hustle and bustle of the crowd, the taxis and cars. Everyone, it seemed, was in a hurry. Likely, they wanted to meet up with family and friends. It was an hour before midnight. There was a certain kind of excitement that only New Year's Eve could bring. The tangible hope that, at the stroke of midnight, everyone magically changed into better people and entered into better circumstances than the previous year. Tonight, Aubriana was no different. With no sight of Sean, tears splashed over Aubriana's lashes but froze on her cheeks. Despite a leather coat lined with faux fur, a wool cap, and leather gloves, Aubriana may as well have been butt-ass naked for all the protection it provided. "God damn it!" she hissed, creating thick frost clouds in front of her face. "Now what?" The question looped in her head a few times, but the voice that had compelled her to climb out of her bedroom window had no answer. She was on her own. Someone slammed into her from behind, hard. "Hey!" she shouted, tumbling forward. After righting herself on frozen legs, she spun around to curse at the rude asshole, but the assailant was gone. She was stuck looking around, mean-mugging people until they looked at her suspect. A sudden gust of wind plunged the temperature lower and numbed her face. She pulled her coat collar up, but it didn't help. The crowd ebbed and flowed, but she stood in one spot like she'd grown roots, still not knowing what to do. And after another 20 minutes, she felt stupid. And cold. Mostly cold. Go back into the station, thaw out, and think. However, When she looked at the large and imposing station, she couldn't get herself to put one foot in front of the other. She had the overwhelming sense that her returning inside would be a sign of defeat, because once she was inside, it wouldn't be too hard to convince herself to get back on the train, go home, and let him win again. Icy tears skipped down.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.